شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الدين النصيحة صدق الله صدق رسوله النبي الكريم. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this great gift of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to each and every one of us. Alhamdulillah, myself, I consider myself to be very fortunate in as was said by our MC today, I was born as a non-Muslim for the first 17 years of my life. The words Christianity and religion might as well have been synonymous with one another. So if I may, let me wind the clock back to the time when it all began. I was born into a Protestant household. My mother was Protestant, my dad and my sister were and are atheists. And I was brought up with this, and even at school you could describe me as a happy, clappy Christian. We would have a club called the Ark, and I would watch those evangelical Christian videos and all of these sorts of things, all of these activities. I explain this because it's important when you talk about a journey to Islam, a journey from darkness to light. When we talk about this, that you understand from where to where, from where I have come to where I have now reached. So alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delivered me from this situation. And it was at a school for the blind, which was in Worcester, because I was partially sighted from birth, but then I became blind at the age of 14. So I travelled and stayed at this boarding school. I was born originally in Bournemouth, but went to Worcester. And from the ages of 12 to 18, I was studying there. Now for my A-levels, this is where I read about Islam. And I wasn't receiving dawah from anybody. I never received dawah from a website or from a dawah table or even from friends towards Islam. It happened by me reading my RE classes at A-level about Islam. Now I was searching for dunya. I was searching for examination grades so that I could go to university, so I could get enough UCAS points. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this to be the medium for me to have something rather better. Subhanallah, the course was not even going to go ahead in the first place. The course, the RE at A-level, it was only going to be running at AS level. If that had been the case, then I would not have had enough full A-levels to go to the universities that I was looking for. So, I would have not taken this, I would have taken English or chemistry or something else. Now, instead, or even on that first day, the people in charge, for whatever reason, they changed their mind. So, for this reason, I was able to take the course. Now, after that, we had to decide, besides Thomas Aquinas and Aristotle and Kant and all these other philosophers who are famous and well known, we had to study another religion. So I had to choose between Judaism or Islam. And by an irony, I chose Judaism. But the rest of the class outvoted me in that. And I was the one, ironically, I was the one who reverted to Islam in the end. But at the start, they were the ones that chose Islam, and I was the one who wanted to do something else. Because I saw Judaism as marginally less boring, a'udhu billah, and backwards than Islam. This is how I saw Islam. This is how so many people, as we know in this world today, especially in the West, see the religion of Islam. Because they are not educated about Islam. And for myself, I never saw the choice of religion as a multiple choice question. I saw it as just Christianity or atheism. But when I got to read about Islam, then all of that changed. So I was reading about Tawheed, I was reading about Risalat, and I thought, was it really necessary that Isa alayhi salam had to be the Son of God? And then I read about Risalat and I thought, is it really possible that this person, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could have led this incredible life, and I was only reading sketchy details. But is it possible that he could have led that life and inspired so many people and not been a prophet of Allah? And I really felt that there was something special about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we also read from the Quran. And if you ever read from the Bible in classes at school or anywhere else, then you'll know there is a differentiation in tone between the Quran and the Bible. The Bible, and you don't need to even explain this to somebody who is not a Muslim. They will know whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put it in their hearts to be able to admit it or not. That's a different matter. But when you have the Bible in front of you, you're reading stories of apostles. You're reading essentially a hadith of those times. If I can put it in those crude terms of calling it a hadith. But a hadith of the disciples of Jesus alayhi salam. So I read the words, literally the words of Allah in the Quran, and I saw that this was something special, and also the unambiguous terms of the Quran contrasts starkly with the vague terms in the Bible. Now let me give one example of this. In the end of times, it is described in the Bible that 7 bowls of anger will be thrown down onto the earth, and 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and so on and so forth. And ambiguous terms which people cannot understand and cannot fathom what the meaning of this is. But we are getting complete descriptions in the Quran. We're hearing about the oceans boiling. We're hearing about in the 17th Sipara it says that the earth is rocked like a boat at sea, etc. All of this we hear, and these are vivid descriptions. So all of this led me towards thinking that the Quran was the book of God. I said my shahada in front of a smattering of non-Muslim witnesses. There was one Muslim, I didn't even know that you had to have 2 Muslim witnesses. But I was frightened to get it out of the way to say my shahada because I felt conspicuous as an opportunity. And I said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. In fact, I said, I believe.